Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 52 units of real estate and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. So today I want to reflect on 2 years ago in June of 2023. I actually hit rock bottom in my life financially, and it was stemmed because of my mobile home park. I was losing about $10,000 a month on the mobile home park, which led to a lot of financial stress. And on top of that, I was renovating my 26 unit, I was renovating my 20 unit, and I was, working a full-time job. So I had a lot of things going on. And this was the first time that I had financial stress in my life. I'm fortunate enough that I grew up middle class, and money, at least from my perception as a kid, wasn't ever stressful. And I can go to college, I can go to pharmacy school, and I chose to work. I didn't have to work. So it was a different mindset to have. And like I said, very fortunate that I could focus on my studies, and my parents gave me that situation to be able to just focus on school, focus on grades, and getting to pharmacy school and graduating pharmacy school, and not really worrying about money. And I will say though that I took out student loans, so it's a little bit dangerous because it feels like you get money, but essentially you have to pay back that money in a few years anyways. So it's like give and take, right? It's definitely give and take. So it's like money that you have, but not really, in a weird sense. So anyways, got student loans, so I didn't really have to worry about money. And from there, I basically became a pharmacist and started making six figures, but I had $250,000 of student debt. So even despite that, I didn't really stress about money because I was making money. So anyways, like basically I never experienced financial stress until 2023, when I was 33 years old and I was losing 100K on my mobile home park, renovating my 26 unit, renovating my 20 unit while working full time. And this depression, the stress, the anxiety was caused by multiples of things. I think it just didn't feel good losing 10K a month, obviously. And on top of that, I was, managing two renovations on my 26 unit, my 20 unit. The hard money loan was coming due, so that led to some stress. And because I was so busy and stretched thin managing these two things, other things would fall on my single family homes. Like I forgot to pay a property tax bill, for example. I forgot to cancel my health insurance. I was double paying my health insurance. I just was making a lot of mistakes because I just felt so overwhelmed with everything. And I remember June of 2023, I hit rock bottom because I was trying to sell my mobile home park for at least 6-7 months now, and it was a roller coaster ride. I'd have someone that would close. I had someone on a contract, and then on the day of closing, they would flake out. Then I'd extend, then they would flake out. I would extend again, and that just kept on going for 4 or 5 months. And it just kind of gave me this hopium. But then every time the hopium, I got crushed. And I remember at rock bottom, I was thinking to myself, wow, I need to really change something that I'm doing to get me out of this rut. And that's when I learned about, the miracle morning, having a morning routine. So I'd wake up in quiet. I would brush my teeth in silence, listen to nothing, don't check your phone, don't check social media, don't even touch your phone besides to turn off the alarm. Brush my teeth, drink a big glass of water, take my vitamins in the morning. So I would take a vitamin D because I'm low in vitamin D. I think most people are low in vitamin D. Pharmacist tip there. I am a pharmacist. And I would actually do stretching to get your body mobile, do some light exercise like some jumping jacks, some push-ups, some air squats, and I would stretch, I would meditate, and then I would write in my journal. And this sounds intense, but literally this whole routine I just described probably took me about maybe 10 minutes. Keep it very simple, right? You just brush your teeth, do some stretches, do some jumping jacks to get the blood flowing, drink your water, I'd eat breakfast, and then when I stretch, I would meditate, and then when I would eat breakfast, I would journal whatever was on my mind, right? So I kind of adopted this like morning routine. And at first it didn't do anything, but after about like 2 3 weeks, it did help me keep my mind still. And in that moment of stillness, I came up with like solutions and all that. And I remember in my journal, like I didn't think too much about it. I just bullet point whatever was on my mind. And a lot of what I was bullet pointing, and I do have my journals I can pull up. So it's kind of cool to self-reflect. But I would document like stress is all mindset. You can get over this. You can survive this. This is the higher universe's plan or God's plan of like testing you, and they know that you can overcome this and you'll come a better person out of this. So just take this moment to like look around, absorb as much information, and learn, right? So during these hard times is when I gained the most clarity. I learned that I don't want to deviate asset classes. Like I bought a mobile home park, lost money. I don't want to have shiny object syndrome. So like just do one or two things that I'm really good at. So for me, it's single family homes in California, Alabama, and multifamily, like about 20 to 40 units in Oklahoma City. So that's all I'm going to do. Even if other good deals come from other markets, I'm just going to focus on that because I know I don't want to do other businesses, side businesses, besides like YouTube and then my coaching. And they kind of go hand in hand, and I love doing this naturally. So like no like laundromat, no pharmacy. Like I'm not going to do other things that distract me, because I'd rather be great at one or two things over a long period of time versus like good at multiple things, and you get burnt out. And that's what I experienced, right? Also, what I kind of learned too was I wanted to like optimize my nighttime routine or my evening routine. So for me at this time, I was really trying to optimize my sleep. I started listening to like the Andrew Huberman podcast. So I really wanted to optimize my evening routine for the best sleep. So what does that mean? I would put my phone on Do Not Disturb at 8 p.m. I would dim the lights once it became sunset so that you're not getting as much light exposure. I would dim my laptop, I'd dim my TV. And I think after like by the time I was 9, at around 8 o'clock, I would cut off all like TV, social media, so that I'm not like stimulated. And then I would like prepare to sleep. And once again, I'd be in silence, I'd be relaxed. After I'd eat an earlier dinner, because the earlier I ate dinner, the earlier I slept. I used to sleep at like midnight, but because I ate at like 8 or 9, and it takes you 3 hours to digest. So if I want to sleep by 9, the latest I can eat dinner is like 6 or before 6 ideally, and then by then you can digest. I would go on like a little walk with Christine after my meal so that I digest and then to kind of decompress. And I take a warm shower, keep my room cool. I'd wear eye masks, close all my blinds, have blackout curtains, and then we'd play the sound of rain, which is white noise, to help me sleep. And for dinner, I would take my vitamins, my multivitamin, my magnesium to help me relax, and a fish oil to help inflammation. And I would try to like exercise, I'd say like 3 to 4 times a week. And I used to be a power lifter, but for me now it's just more like machines and more casual stuff. But I started this like morning routine, night routine, and then I did notice that it improved. Like I learned that I need to breathe with my nose more because it helps you relax. It's harder for me to breathe with my nose, but it helps you relax more, leaves you less brain fog. So I would like really be cognizant of like breathing my nose. I grind my teeth at night. I have bruxism, so I have to like wear like a mouth retainer so that it helps reduce it. So just being diligent of that. And when I'm stressed, I grind even more. So I just did a lot of like lifestyle modifications in the morning as well as the evening to help me. So that was like 2 years ago. And then fast forward today, 2 years later, I still do a lot of those routines. Like maybe I'm not as diligent in my morning routine as I used to be. But I still do my night routine a lot. I still am very diligent in my supplementation. And if I do feel stressed, if I do feel anxious, I do journal still. Like I said, I create content as a form of therapy and just to get things off my chest and off my mind, so that it gets off my mind and then moves on and you don't ruminate on it. I'm sure we all experience that night where like you're sleeping and you just think about something and just keep on repeating your mind over and over and over again. You don't really get that good of a sleep. So for me, if I'm like ruminating because I'm stressed or like I have a lot to do, I would write a to-do list the night before, and I would journal the night before to really get the thoughts and just word vomit onto this paper to get it off my mind and onto paper. So pen to paper. And I think that really helped me as well. And I think after that, I just learned that it kind of like ironically in 2023, that's when real estate interest rates went up, and then the housing market kind of stagnated. So haven't been really buying as much real estate, and obviously I spent up all my capital too. So for the past 2 years I've just been trying to rebuild up my capital so that when good deals come, I'm in a good, strong financial position to strike. And the past 2 years, I did buy my primary residence about a year ago in 2024. So I did buy something, but in the past year, I've just kind of been reflecting like how I want to pivot. Obviously I built up a nice net worth where if I sold a lot of my properties, I probably don't have to work anymore, but I still do work. So like as I start the family plan, like what moves am I gonna make? What properties am I gonna sell to basically allow me to be part-time, or allow me to just retire from my job, right? Realistically, probably go part-time and then retire. So go in a stepwise fashion, but I'm probably going to sell the first 2 homes that I bought, right? I'm probably going to sell my first home that I bought in the Bay Area, use that to pay off my primary residence and have no mortgage. I'm probably going to have to sell my second single family home, which is a duplex in the Bay Area, and then use that to maybe pay off one of my apartment complexes to increase that cash flow, or both my apartment complexes, or just to have money and to dump it into like something more liquid, like index funds, right, in a brokerage account, because when you retire you need more liquidity. So like these are the moves I have to like make, and then like what type of deals do I want to buy. Like for me, I want to have clarity. So right now the deals I want to buy is I want to buy new build single family homes in Huntsville, Alabama, where I take over property subject to, and they do a seller carry second. So I put low to no money down, and it still cash flows, right? And I can hold it to the long term, let it appreciate, cash flow a little bit to like sustain the property, and then hopefully after 10 years I can sell it and then use that to pay off the other properties, right? So if I buy 10 of these homes subject to no money down or low money down, I could sell off 5 and then use that 5 to pay off the other 5 and own 5 free and clear, and then now you're less stressed. Also, I want to buy a good multifamily deal in Oklahoma City that's near my 26 unit, within maybe ideally 3 to 4 miles outside of that. And from there, basically I want to buy a deal where either it's heavy value add, where I buy it, I'm going to renovate it, raise up the rents, and then at that point I don't have to refinance and just cash flow significantly. And then I have 2 of those, and because my 26 unit cash flow is about $6,000-$8,000 a month, and if I get another one that cash flows $6,000-$8,000 a month, like I'm in a really strong position, right? Or I could buy a turnkey apartment complex that's already renovated, already at market rents, but I buy it in a way where I do creative financing and structure the creative financing in a way where I cash flow, right? Like there's a way to structure it so that you can cash flow well and have a great cash on cash return, and then you don't have to do as much legwork, right? But then you don't get the upside of forced appreciation. You're already buying it at market or above market because it's creative financing, but you're cash flowing the property over time, right? So it's another thing that I kind of been thinking and been eyeing, right? But I haven't been sent my direct mail campaign because I'm not as serious just yet. So for me, I'm just kind of waiting, assessing the market, and then waiting for the right time to strike. And I do see it's a good time in Huntsville, Alabama. A lot of new builds there, and a lot of people who bought in the past 5 years, they have a hard time selling, because why would I buy a used house when I can buy a new house for the same price? So that's why I want to take over the loan subject to, assume a great interest rate, and then from there do seller carry second to lower my down payment, and I can take over a property that cash flows at least enough to sustain the property and cover vacancies. And same with the apartments. Like I said, if I can find a great value add, great. If not, then obviously I could buy something turnkey, right? The cash flows day one using creative financing. But if you notice, both my strategies, they're both creative financing, right? So like this is the clarity that I've gotten by going through the hardest moment in my life financially. And that's why I could consistent in YouTube and creating content and coaching, because it's like YouTube, it's free. Like it costs me no money. I'm recording on my phone, which I already have, right? And then I'm just sharing my knowledge. I don't edit, I don't pay editor, I don't pay for anything, right? And then it leads me to coaching clients. And then when we coach clients, it's very high profit margin. So I learned I like businesses that are high profit margin. And I like teaching organically. Like I don't need to make millions of dollars off coaching and mentorship, but could I make half a pharmacist's salary? Maybe one day. And then at that point, if I'm working part-time, I'm making the other half time through this coaching business, or maybe I just retire and I'm making, $60,000-$70,000 coaching. That's great. That's enough, right? I'm not super bougie, and then I just can live life on my terms. So anyways, just wanted to share my mindset and reflect 2 years later of what I learned from the hardest, financial year in my life, and how it shaped me today and how it gave me clarity today. So hopefully, if you're going through something hard in your life, know that in 2 years you're gonna look back and realize how much better you got out of it from that situation. But anyways, if you want one-on-one coaching and mentorship, click on my link tree down below. From there, you can see my courses, my mentorship, my coaching, and if you want to send me an email, my email is there as well. If you want a discount code, send me an email. Happy to give you one. Otherwise, let me know questions you have. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you next one. Thank you so much.